Some Rafinha magic, a blunder in defence and a Harrison beauty secured the points for Leeds at Watford. It's been a long wait, but we're back in action. So joining us as always on the warm-up, Leeds United legend Don Matteo.
How you doing, Rich?
Very good, thank you. And Leeds United legend Eddie Gray. Eddie, great to have you here.
Pleased to be here.
Let's start with, it feels like absolutely ages ago, Leeds going down to Vicarage Road and getting a 3-0 win. It feels like just months ago. Hasn't been that long ago, a couple of weeks, but a really important win which kind of almost secured Watford's fate and puts us in a much better position. Yeah,
it was a huge game for the football club. It was a great win. Didn't play particularly well, but that wasn't the objective in that game. The objective was to pick the 3 points up, and we done it. And all credit to the players. Difficult place to go, Watford, especially in the circumstances they were in as well. So to pick the 3 points up there, it puts us in a lot healthier position we were in before the game.
Don, when you look at that result, Eddie said it wasn't. I don't think many people are going to be re-watching it too many times, put it that way. But does the fact that it wasn't a great performance or a great game, but the margin of victory being as it was, does that make it all the more impressive?
I think Eddie's right. It wasn't a classic, was it, in any stretch of the mid? But I think it was all about them 3 points, and I think how important that result was for the club going forward. And I think, obviously, the manager's come in. He's trying to get some of his thoughts across as well, which I think he has quite early as well. And obviously, I just think it was all about them 3 points. And I think, forget the performance, I think Coop's coming back in has made a huge difference to the club. He's the captain, he's the leader. So we've got a voice again, and I feel like we've missed that voice so much. And just a couple of players back fit and doing things better, I think it just makes the club feel like we're going somewhere again.
I think Dom's right. I think, when you get a victory like that, especially given the circumstances, it gives everybody at the football club a great boost and a lift. Yeah. So I think the players will be looking forward to getting back into action, and climbing the table. That's what they want to do. They want to far up that table as possible. And opportunities, we've got a few tough games, as we know, a few great fixtures to come for the fans. So I think the players they can't relax, but they can enjoy the end of the season a little bit more. I think the thing about it is, if you don't win at Watford and you get beat down there, then the tension gets to everybody. It gets to the players, it gets to the fans, and that's when you start to worry a little bit. But that victory there, although, as we've said earlier, it wasn't a classical game, but it was such an important 3 points for us.
Dom, just in terms of the goals as well, scoring 3 goals in a Premier League match isn't an easy thing to do. Leeds haven't managed to do that often this season, obviously, but Rafinha with a bit of magic, Jack Harrison's goal as well, and Rodrigo back on the score sheet again, albeit after a defensive absolute howler, but he has to be there and he has to finish it off.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with Rodrigo. I think he's the one player, and we've mentioned him a few times on the show, that he's improving, and he always seems to get better as the season goes on, Rodrigo, and I think we're going to see more from him. And he's obviously chipping in with the goals as well. And I think some of the goals as well were brilliantly taken as well.
I think Dom's right when he says about Rodrigo. In the past few games, he's been one of the most impressive players, and he seems to be rising to the challenge that's in front of him. And that's good for us, because we know Rafinha can score goals and we've got players that can, play. But it's just nice to see him, getting somewhere near his best. And it'll give him a lot of confidence going into the run-in. And the run-in's still important. We're sitting here and we're talking, we're a bit more relaxed after the Watford game, but there's still a lot of tough games in front of us, and we've still got to pick points up. Because you can never tell. People talk about the teams at the bottom of the table, they're struggling, they are. And you can't see the teams at the bottom, I can't see the teams at the bottom picking enough points up now to catch us. But you can never tell in football. Somebody always comes out of the pack and goes for a little run and strings a few victories together and puts people under pressure. So that's why, it's nice to get a victory away from home. And, and that gives everybody a big lift, everybody. And give the manager a lift as well. He'll be more relaxed going into the last few games as well.
I'm feeling horribly stressed. But that's just a fan perspective of, waiting to see what's going to happen with the rest of the season. Dom, 16 days now between the last time we played and the game we'll have against Palace, which we'll preview in full. We saw the players you speak about relaxing, or at least trying to mentally relax a little bit. We've seen them have a little bit of time off, some of them playing golf, some of them getting a few days away.
Yeah.
What will Jesse Marsh have been doing in this period of time, and how important is it for him to have a chunk of time with the group to try and work on things?
Yeah, I think it's massively important. Obviously, I think giving the lads a few days off can work for you and work against you at times. We all know that, but I think it was important. They had such a break before the next game. Go and let them relax, go and let them think about the game, and think about, also, you never forget what games are coming up as a player. You realise what's really important. So go away, relax, like you say, play a bit of golf, have a couple of beers. You've got to do that, but then we know it's back to business, and that's what it is. From this game going forward, obviously a really important game against a tough side, Palace, under Vieira. So I think it's just about now getting the group back together. And I think what I've seen recently, I've mentioned this a few times, I've seen the togetherness again back like it has been. It feels like we're a tighter group again. And that's not because of the change of manager or anything like that. I just think the group have got together. Maybe Coops, the captain, or some of the other lads, that, you know, the big characters like Ayling, maybe have just got the boys together and said, listen, this is massive now. It's all about now getting results and getting us safe, and then we can relax and then enjoy our football again.
I think the thing about it is it gives the manager a chance to get a bit of rapport with the players, get to know them as individuals, what makes them tick, you know. And I think he'll be like that. I think he'll have a chat to the players, he'll put his arm around them, he'll get to know them, and he'll be trying to form a relationship with the players. I mean, he came in at a difficult time. You know, people, you know, you've got to look at the time he came into the football club and we were struggling. He's got a few victories, you know, and we can look forward. As I said earlier, we've still got to get a couple of results, but the way the players are feeling now, I'm sure they'll get them.
10 points from 12 for Leeds, that run of 4 undefeated, and that combined with results from the other teams around us means it is in our hands now. No one can catch us up without us dropping points. That's a good position to be in.
Well, if you're near the bottom of the league and you're picking 10 points up to 12, you know the teams below you are not going to do that. I mean, that's just the nature of the league. I mean, they'd be lucky if they picked 10 points up in 20 games, some of the teams that are down the bottom of the league. So, you know, it's great that our players have been able to rise to the challenge that was put in front of them. And I think they can relax a little bit. You can't relax, you know, 100%, but you can get into games with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more freedom. And I think the important thing is, you know, and it'll give the players the confidence in the manager. The manager getting the results. You know yourself, Don, new manager coming in, it's always difficult for him if it doesn't go well early. But if it goes well, the players respond to him. You know, and that's a great thing at the football club just now. We've picked the points up when the new managers come in.
Around us in the Premier League this weekend, Burnley taking on Wolves at home, Liverpool against Everton. Dom, let me just come to you for Liverpool, Everton for a score prediction. How's that one going to go? I mean, Liverpool absolutely flying, Everton struggling to pick up those points.
Got a lot of blue noses of my mates, you know, obviously living in the Liverpool area for a long time in my life. Yeah, they're not happy. I'm telling you that for nothing. They are fuming at the moment. He's got such a tough job. Has he got the players? I think the recruitment's been really poor at Everton. I really do. And I think, obviously, the other side of the coin you're playing against, in my opinion, there's two of the best clubs in the world in there at the moment, City and Liverpool. They're the two outstanding teams. And I just can't see anything. I can't see anything but a Liverpool victory against Everton.
No, I agree. I mean, I think, I'll be honest with you, you know, Liverpool, Man City, head to head, I'd back Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, I think Liverpool are physically strong. They've got some good players. I think they can match Manchester City in most areas. I think we just get that little bit of steel about them.
About Diaz coming in as
yeah,
well.
Diaz, well, he's obviously been tremendous.
Ridiculous,
I mean, he's gave the Liverpool Football Club a lift. And it's a hard thing to say that about one player coming into a football club like Liverpool and giving everybody a lift. But what he's done is gave the crowd a lift as well. They've got a great belief back. And I think it's took a bit of pressure, you know, off the likes of Mane and Mo Salah. They're playing with somebody that they know can change a game in a split second. So that gives them a lift and they can relax a little bit. There's not as much pressure on them when they get into games. So it's going to be a great run into you know, for the end of the season. And, you know, it's very, very interesting. And Dom says, I mean, you can never tell what happens in local derbies. I mean, the Evertonians will be up for it, you know, and they'll want to put one over in Liverpool. It's like any local derbies, and sometimes you get some strange results. I just, like Dominic, I can't see it happening in this game. I think Liverpool have too much steel. And the one thing about Liverpool, you know, for all their flair and talent they've got, defensively, very strong. 2 centre-backs, strong, physically strong. 2 full-backs do their job. I know they come into the game a lot. But, you know, when you have somebody like Van Dijk, who's like quick, strong, great in the air, centre-back, that gives the players in front of him a lot of confidence. Because they'll be thinking, well, we only need to score a goal and we're going to win the game. Because we're not going to concede many.
An upset is not obviously what we're after this
No.
weekend. Hopefully not. Of course, all those games will take place before we're in action Monday night down at Crystal Palace. Full preview of that on the way. First, let's hear from Leeds United's head coach. This is the thoughts of Jesse Marsch.
Yeah, I mean, incredible challenges coming up, right? Some really, really good opponents, but we've done a good job of staying in the moment and going step by step. And so that's my focus right now is not about how important the 3 points are or with the upcoming schedule. It's Crystal Palace is a team we have a lot of respect for. They made it to the FA Cup semifinal. They've had an incredible season. They have a lot of quality players that are very dangerous in 1v1 situations and in transition moments, and they have a really good coach. And we know that Palace is a tough place to play. So it will be a big challenge for us, and it will require entire concentration and focus on the task at hand.
So it's all about Leeds United travelling down to Crystal Palace, Monday night match, and a huge game in store as well. Dom, the approach for this game, they've had the 16-day break in between. Get switched on and get on it from the start. Yeah,
most definitely. Start on the front foot. You know it's never going to be easy at Palace. I tell you one thing about Palace is the atmosphere is electric, isn't it? It's one of the best. It's one of the best noises, you know, apart from Ellen Road, obviously. But it is. It's noisy. They're up for it, and obviously manager under Patrick Vieira, sorry, got the word there in the end. You know, I think he's installed that bit of confidence into them. And I think they want to get more of the solidity into their team as well because they've got lots of flair players. I think defensively we can still get at them though with the pace we've got going forward. But I think it's a winnable game, but it won't be easy. And like you say, I think both sets of fans as well, I think are going to enjoy that, even though it's on a Monday. It's never handy, is it, for all the fans travelling? But they'll be here as usual and making a lot of noise. And I just think it'll be a great game, and I think it'll be a tight game.
Eddie, let me just ask you about, from a squad point of view, we're in a situation where for one of the first times this season, we can say the squad's a bit fuller than it has been with all the injuries that we've had this season, but players have been coming back. There's more competition for places. From a squad point of view, how important is it that players know they're not a certainty to start necessarily, there's someone else nipping at the heels?
I think it is important. I mean, you mentioned the break, gives the players a chance to get fit, people back, and it gives the manager as well a chance to assess the players. He'll have been looking at the players, you know, on the training field. He's a bit of time to work with them now, and they'll be pleased as everybody fit. And he'll pick what he sees as the strongest side at Crystal Palace. And as Dom says, there's no many harder places to go in Crystal Palace. I mean, the crowd there, they really, really get behind the team. And they're the type of side, Crystal Palace, you look at the players they've got, and they've got a lot of flair players that can really play on their day. If they get on top of you, they can give you a real torrid time. So it's a tough game to go there. You know, they're capable on their day, Crystal Palace, of beating MD, especially down there. I mean, and the crowd behind them. So it's a tough game for us. But it's a type of game that we can get into with confidence as well.
Dom, you mentioned Patrick Vieira in terms of the opposition manager. Big week for him, inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. I mean, what a player he was. Just wondering, has he got a tricky task on his hands at the moment? Palace they've had a pretty good season up until last week, semi-final of the Cup. Yeah. Suddenly, bloom burst, and there's not that much to play for yet. They're not technically, mathematically safe yet. But will the players feel a bit subdued, having thought, oh, that's no FA Cup final now, we're just sort of seeing out the season?
I don't think Vieira is that type of guy who's going to let them players do that, being brutally honest. Played against him, physical, great player, had everything, I suppose. Great, tough opponent. So I think he'll be telling his players, listen, obviously gutted, be lost in a semi-final. I've lost in FA Cup semi-finals myself. I know how it feels. It's not nice, but I tell you what, there's another game coming up very quickly on Monday night, and he'll be saying to his players, I want you all at it, bang at it as well, because they'll know again that Leeds need a win as well. So it's an important game, and like you said, they're pretty much safe, but not completely. So it's just now important that we just do our thing. And I think we don't worry about other teams too much, know their strengths and weaknesses, but do what we do well. And we've seen signs of that coming back in. And I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. The captain coming back in, you know, he's had his critics at times. I wasn't one of them, and I'm not just saying that, because I think he does something very, very good for the club. He's a voice, and he speaks, and he leads from the front, and leads by example. And I think some of his last couple of performances have been excellent, considering he's not had much game time.
Eddie, Palace's form, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats in the last 6 in the league suggests that you're not quite sure what you're going to get. But in terms of their personnel, you mentioned flair players,
Well done.
and their key players as well. Who are the ones you would pick out?
Well, obvious, and Eduardo up front, you know, when they're on song, these players, they're a danger to anybody. But I think the thing about Palace, you know, like, their minds in the last few weeks they've been dreaming of playing an FA Cup final, you know. So they've got to get back to the basics, and that's what Patrick Vieira was saying to them. We've got to get back to the basics. We're no clear, we're not out the woods yet, you know, as far as Premier League status is concerned. So they'll be thinking they need to pick a few points up. So it'll be a difficult game for us. But it's a game we're more than capable going down there with a full squad to win and pick the 3 points up. Anything at Crystal Palace, though, is a decent result for us. You know, we speak about teams picking points up below us. Difficult for the teams below us to pick up points. But when you look at our run-in as well, I mean, the teams below us will be looking at Leeds United's run and think, they've got a few tough games to come. So the Palace game's an important game. And I think our players will go down there. They'll realise how important it is to get something for the game, just to make us a little bit more secure, you know, with our position in the Premier League.
Yeah, Palace, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, another 10 points from 12, Dom?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, most definitely. Now, listen, let's start with the Palace game. Get some points on the board, and then let's see what happens after that. Because we know there are games, but again, we've done it before. You know, when we've been the underdogs in games, we've got results, and you know, another 3 points or a point puts us in the right place to do that. Yeah,
we've got some tough games coming up. I mean, last night Arsenal looked like the best team in Britain. You know, against Chelsea. You know, they played them off the pitch, didn't they?
Did.
You know,
yeah.
So like they're tough games. So that's why it's important. But most games you play in the Premier League, regardless of who you're playing, if you're on song and everybody's, you know, up for it, really up for it, and everybody's pulling together and they're playing well as a unit, you're capable of getting a result against most sides. There's certain sides in the league, if all their players are on song, you're going to struggle. We know that. But, you know, teams like the Arsenal can have off days, you know, get into that game. But Palace are the games that we've got to go and try and pick points up. And even if you get a point down in London, to me, it's a good result.
What is the score going to be, Eddie? That's what I've got to ask you.
Well, me personally, you know, I'm going down to London full of hope. I think we'll win the game. I think we'll win the game by the odd goal and 3.
Excellent. All right. And Dom?
Yeah, I think Eddie's obviously always right, but I do. But listen, I'd take a point. I'd take a point all day long. But I think we are capable of winning it. But a point would be great.
Okay, 1 point, 3 points. I think we'd take either of those results. With one eye on the rest of the games this weekend as well. It's going to be a long wait until Monday night, but Leeds United travelling down south to Crystal Palace. Huge game. You can watch all the action and follow the coverage, of course, on LUTV. Your commentary team will be Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo. Dom, Eddie, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers for watching and enjoy the match.
Yeah.